Morning, everybody. Carmen here. For this week's How Do I, we are going to talk about some new notions and accessories. So I don't know if you've seen it, but our new Expo Buyers guide is in homes now. It's on our website. And many of you who shop with us, you might get this mailed to you. And we have lots of different notions and accessories in this catalog. And I wanted to take some time to talk about some of the new things that we have and tell you a little bit more about them. So you can see here I have a table of different goodies out here. And so I think we will just start, we're just gonna start right over here on this side and we'll work all the way down there. So the first thing I have here is something sort of small, but so useful. So these are the Kai blunt tip scissor. So this is a 5-inch scissor, and I feel like I open a pair of these like all the time because this happens to be personally one of my favorite scissors because they're just super duper easy, and I love the blunt tip. So here you can see better why this scissor is cool. So it has this great curve here. So this is great if you are using something in a hoop and you need to trim because the curve here is going to help you get close to the fabric, right? But not get in the way of your hoop. But what makes these particularly unique is they have a blunt tip. So the beauty of a blunt tip is then when you are trimming, you don't accidentally stab the tip of your scissor into the fabric and create a hole. I don't know about you, but I tend to damage things when my scissors are too sharp, or like when you're using I don't know if you've done it with, I've done it with a seam rip or two where I put a hole in something because I'm just trying to be too fast. And this blunt tip protects that. So I think that is probably why this is probably my favorite pair of trimmers because it has the curve here and then it has that blunt tip. And so these are by Kai. And for those of you who don't know about Kai, Kai is Japanese made scissors. They are some of our favorite scissors. Most of the staff here at Quality Sewing own different pairs of Kai scissors because they are beautiful. They work really well and they are a great value. So that is always a good thing. So these Kai scissors, they're sort of a must-have for my sewing stash. Okay, the next thing I have here is this silicone iron rest. That's the word I'm looking for. The silicone iron rest by It's So Emma. It's a great blue color, but this is silicone. And so what's great about this is I find that I always like to be able to turn and press when I am working on things, and having a good spot to rest my iron that's not going to damage my tabletop or damage something. That's where this comes into play because you can use this, since it's silicone, you can rest your iron on here, you can sit your iron on here, but no matter which part of the iron is sitting on here, it's not going to melt or anything. So silicone is very heat resistant, which is great. So it's really nice if you need, if you're turning and pressing a lot, and let's say you have a press mat here and your iron is sitting over here, right? Instead of having your iron just sitting direct on your dining room table or whatever, or your cabinet, this is a way that you can set your iron on here and it will protect the surface from the heat of that iron, if that makes sense. And then it's also a nice color. It's So Emma makes a whole bunch of great fun products. Another fun product we have here by the same company is called the Oh So Clean Brush and Cloth Set. And this is just a really handy little cleaning set. It's recommended that your sewing machine be cleaned and serviced by a professional once a year, right? And when my technicians clean your machine, they're gonna take everything apart. They're gonna get in there and get all of that dust and stuff out. But there is still some dusting that you can do that can help your machine. So around your bobbin case, there's oftentimes dust, and brushing that out. These are some really small little brushes that you can get in there to dust out that brush, that lint, right? And we have this little guy too, which I love this one because, so many things are so small. You can really get in there because it's long and small, and you can get that extra lint that sort of builds up in the places that you can see. You can do that with this. And then there's also this nice little chamois here. And this chamois is great. If you have a machine that has a touch screen and you need to clean that touch screen, this little chamois works really well for that. And so it's nice to have this in your sewing stash as well. And then it all comes in this cute little case like this. Okay, next, I'm so excited about these. So we have a new brand of, I need to come in. I'm getting out of the shop, people. Sorry about that. We have a new brand of pre-wound bobbin, okay? So these are the Sew Stitch bobbins made by Designs and Machine Embroidery. And if you're familiar with the Designs and Machine Embroidery product, all of their products are designed for embroidery. Their whole company, all they do is create excellent products for embroidery. And so the reason why I'm excited about these is we have them now at all of our store locations, and we have them in white, and we have them in size 15, which is most brothers and baby locks are going to take the size 15 bobbin, and we also have them in L's, which is what a lot of the Thoth and Vikings take, so the two most common bobbin sizes. And you get a ton of bobbins here depending on the package. It's a little bit different how many bobbins you get, but these are all a really good value. And we tested them out on all of our different sewing machines here, and they all work great. And they even have an M-size bobbin for your long arm machines. So check these out if you're in need of some pre-wound bobbins. I guess the first thing I didn't say was, why would you want a pre-wound bobbin anyway? Well, you want a pre-wound, at least I want a pre-wound bobbin, because when I am doing embroidery, I don't really want to have to change my bobbin. For most embroidery, you are just going to use a white bobbin. Maybe sometimes I use a black bobbin if I am embroidering on black fabric, but 90% of the time I use a white bobbin. And I want that bobbin to last as long as possible before I have to change it. And the pre-wound bobbins that are pre-wound commercially have a lot more thread on them than we are able to wind on our bobbins at home. And then also this is bobbin thread weight. So it's the perfect weight for your machine. It works beautifully. And it's really just an ease of use sort of thing. So I really love pre-wound bobbins for that reason. And these are a brand new one that are pretty great. And you should give them a try if you're looking for pre-wound bobbins. Okay, so I don't know if you can see behind me this big, beautiful thing of thread here. This is a new product by Floriani. Question?
Yeah, Marianne wants to know, are there pre-filled bobbins for Bernina?
You know, Mary Ann, I'm trying to think off the top of my head if they have any pre-wound bobbins right now, and I do not believe there are any pre-wound bobbins for Bernina. Many of the Bernina machines, there are a lot of different types of bobbins for Berninas. There's probably four that I can think of off the top of my head. And so no, at this time there are not any pre-wound bobbins that I know of. I will look for that though, because that would be really handy for all of our Bernina owners. Okay, so next, right here, I am standing in front of the Rainbow Wall Connection. And so you can see here, this is a beautiful thread set. It's 120 spools, and they call it the rainbow thread set because you have, you can see it's the whole spectrum of colors, right? We've got the purples, the blues, the pinks, the yellows, the greens, and it's all set up in a beautiful rainbow array. So that is really fun. But we have a new collection here where you get this bundle where you get this 120 spool thread set, and each of these spools of thread are normally $6 each. So this is a lot of thread. And then you're getting a thread rack, which is what's attached behind it there. And this thread rack allows you to put all of the threads. You can hang this on your wall. So then you can have this beautiful wall of all that beautiful rainbow thread, right? So the thread can be hung on your wall with the thread rack that it comes with. And then the exciting thing about this is it also comes with some software. Now this software is called the Floriani Rainbow software. So you're probably wondering, well, what does Rainbow software do for me? And well, let me tell you. So there's a couple of really cool things that are unique about the software. The first thing is you can go in and you can adjust your color changes, right? So you can go in and manipulate the colors of your design. You can go in and change the colors. So like you can see here, this is a design where maybe it was just one color. They went in and added all of these colors, right? So you can change in the design how many different color changes you have, and you can make it more colorful or less colorful. But what's really cool about this software, that's one thing that it does. It also, so as far as the rainbow part, you can control the range of colors with easy use sliders. Okay, and so in the rainbow tools you can use for text. You can see here in the back where you can use it for text or designs, but it also includes all of these other features. So it also includes some editing features. Like it allows you to flip your design, edit your design a little bit, merge designs, color sort. Color sort can be really handy if you have a design that has tons of colors in it. So when you tell it to color sort, it will try to do all of the black and then all of the blue and then all of the green. which is really great when you have a design that has lots of colors. Now, sometimes it won't let you do all the black, because if the black is the very last color, for example, right, it's going to keep that at the very end. But what the software will do is try to minimize your color changes as much as possible with the color sort feature, which is pretty great. It also has the 3D view. It can show and hide stitches. You can display stitch points. There's a hoop view. So if you don't have any embroidery software, this is a really great basic piece of embroidery software that allows you to do some really cool rainbow thread things. And this piece of software is actually separate. So like if you already own Floriani FTCU, this actually doesn't come inside of it. This is an additional piece, and it's a really fun piece of software. And this whole thing comes as a package, and it's new from Floriani, so I wanted to let you know about it, called the Rainbow Wall Connection. So let's take that guy back up there. All right, next we're going to talk about a couple of things that are handy for the scan and cut. So if you have a scan and cut, or you have some other cutting machine and you are doing things with vinyl, so you can see here, this is a really cute vinyl design that was put on fabric and then wrapped around just, you know, a canvas here. And when you are doing vinyl, it is a big sheet, right? And so the whole sheet goes through the machine and it cuts out all the lines. And that is great, but you have to get rid of all the excess. So as you imagine, when this was first put through the machine, it was one sheet of vinyl, and then we had to pick off, you have to pick off all of the negative space, basically. And that is what this great weeding tool from Embellished is for. So you can see it has a little pouch because it is very sharp. It's a very sharp point here. But when you have a weeding tool, it allows you to really easily pick the that negative space extra vinyl away. And you can see you use that here. You would have used that here with all these, like the O here, you would have wanted to get that out. And sometimes sometimes your finger can work, but when it's really detailed, you oftentimes need something that's sharp to really just grab those little pieces and help pull them out. And the better the tool, the faster the weeding is. And for those of you who've done some stuff with vinyl, you know, sometimes the weeding can take some time as you're getting rid of all of those little extra pieces of vinyl that you actually don't need in the design. So this is a great tool. It's one of our favorites. And it looks like this, Embellished vinyl weeding tool. And this is designed by Hope Yoder, and Hope Yoder does a ton of stuff with embroidery. So she has really, and a ton of stuff with the scan and cut. So she makes a lot of great tools that really work well with the scan and cut products. So the other thing I have for scan and cut is this great little case. This is newer. I think I have talked about it one time, but I always like to have the right things for storage. And, you know, with the scan and cut, you probably have a lot of different blade holders, right? You might have one for the vinyl, right? You might have one for the deep cut blade. You might have one for all of these different uses. And so it's really handy to have a place to store all of these different things. And then what I like about this storage is you can see through it. So that way you can see what you have here. If it was me, I would probably throw a little note in here that tells me what each of them are for. Some are for, like this, you know, this one is for a pen. And you could put a note in here that tells you which each of these blade holders is for. So it's really easy when you're grabbing out of your stash. Oh, great, that's the one I need because I'm going to use my pen. Or this is the one I'm going to use because I'm using my vinyl blade right now. And this is just a great handy way to keep everything stored. So and you can see through it, which I like. And of course, it can just sit nicely on a shelf. And it does zip shut. So it also works super well if you want to take it to class because it has a little handle. Okay, I'm going to move this guy. All right, next we are going to talk about some couple of Quilter Select items. So there is a new Quilter Select ruler set here, and they call this the Golden Rule Pack. It has the most recent rulers and rotary cutter that Quilter Select has. So if you are not familiar with the Quilter Select products, I'm sure many of you are because they are amazing. But Quilter Select has been designed by Alex Anderson, and she has been a quilter for many, many years. And so she partnered with R&K Distributing, and R&K Distributing is the makers of Floriani. So she partnered with them to create all of the tools she always wished she had. So what she has is she has an entire line. She has quilting stabilizers. She has all of these beautiful rulers. She has rotary cutters. She has mats. And for those of you who have been wondering about the Quilter Select mats, some of them just started coming back into stock. And I know a couple times some of you have asked me about that. Like, when are we ever going to see the Quilter Select cutting mats again? But they are coming back into stock now, which is really exciting. So soon, hopefully all the sizes will be back in stock. So they have a whole beautiful line here. And what's unique about their products, about her products here, when it comes to the rulers, for instance, and I should have opened this. We're going to open it up to show you here. But the rulers, they have a wonderful little bit of it's not adhesive, but it has a coating on the back of this ruler. And the reason why that is so great is that when you have it on your fabric, it does not slip and slide, okay? And then the other thing about the rulers here is that she has rulers in all of these really great sizes. So for instance, this ruler here, this is one of the new ones that's coming in this pack, and this is the 1.5 by 12 inch ruler. Now the beauty of having, I think most of us own like a 1 inch by 12 inch ruler, right? The beauty of the 1.5 is now it also has your seam allowance in there, right? So now if you're doing quilting or something and you want to look at 1 1/4 or 1 1/2, you just get a little bit more flexibility in the ruler here. And then the beauty of her rulers is that they all line up with their mats as well. So all of the markings line up with, like you can see I have a Quilter Select actual cutting mat here, and all of the markings line up. So that way it gives you more precision when you're cutting. If you have a Quilter Select cutting mat, Quilter Select rulers, and then the rotary cutter, you are going to be able to cut straighter, which is I think what we're all after, right? The first step of any good quilt is cutting it straight to start with, and then piecing it straight, right? So there's lots of room for error in there, and so when we have the right tools, it makes it really helpful. And so this new pack here, it has the 1 1/2 by 12 inch ruler. It has the new 3 by 12 inch ruler, which also is just, I don't know, this is just a great size ruler, super helpful. You can use it for so many different things. And then the other one that's really fun here is the 8.5 by 12 inch ruler. So this one, once again, it's 8.5. So if you're working on an 8 inch block, you're going to have your seam allowance. So the 8.5 is really handy, right? But then also the other place that this can be really helpful is a lot of those in the hoop projects that you might be squaring are also that 8 inch size. So this is going to work really well. And then it gives you some extra, since it's not just like a 6 inch ruler, it gives you just a little bit more to work with, which is really handy. And I really like the 8 and 8.5 inch size rulers myself because I find them just a little bit more versatile. And so this is a new one, which is great. And then also it's coming with the new 60 millimeter rotary cutter. And the 60 millimeter rotary cutter, you know, it's been on the market for a little while now, but what's great about it, most of us, I think, have a 45 millimeter rotary cutter, which works for most of our things. But the beauty of a 60 millimeter rotary cutter is you can cut through more layers of fabric at one time, and you can cut through plush, thick fabric more easily. And that's the beauty of having this big blade. You know, honestly, for years, I didn't really understand why we wanted to have a 45 versus a 60, but now I know, and it is so much nicer when you are cutting through heavyweight fabric, or if you are doing something for a quilt and you have more layers layered up there and you want to cut them all at the same time, this 60 millimeter rotary cutter is going to work better. And this kit comes with the 60 millimeter rotary cutter, and it's coming with the 60 millimeter blade. So a replacement blade, so you have everything that you would need to get going. Okay, we've got 2 more things here to show you. So right here we have, this is new from Quilter Select as well. This is a para cotton poly. So what this is actually a polyester thread with a cotton finish on top. So it's going to still look like it's cotton in your finished product. It's 80 weight. And so since it's 80 weight, that means that, you know, the higher the number, the finer the weight, right? So an 80 weight thread is going to really sort of hide into your fabric, if that makes sense, where you can really, you can see the texture, but you're not going to see the thread as much, which sometimes in quilting, that is what you want. This would be amazing if you do quilting in your embroidery hoop. This would be a great product for doing the quilting with because it's going to perform super well with your embroidery machine. You could use it in your bobbin, you can use it in your top thread. It's going to perform great for your embroidery machine, but it's also going to help give you that quilting look. And this is new, and what's great about this is it has some really basic colors: black, gray, off-white, and white. So for most of my quilting things, I definitely use, these are probably the colors I use the most, right? Because I'm gonna use black if I'm doing something really dark, and otherwise I use a lot of grays and off-whites. So this is sort of a new kit where it's a good value when you get them all four together, and then it's also a large size. So if you are doing an in the hoop quilting project, you could use this for more traditional quilting as well. You could use it for piecing. You could really use it for lots of different things, but where my mind goes to is how great this would be if you were doing in the hoop quilting, which I know many of you have a Brother Luminaire or a Solaris, and they have some really amazing in the hoop quilting features with all that stippling and stuff, and this would be a great thread to use for that. Okay, and then finally, I think I'm gonna go this way so I can sort of turn myself, if that works. Finally here we have a Fabulous 5 stabilizer set. So this is a stabilizer set, and it comes with 5 different types of stabilizers, some thread and some embroidery designs. So this, it's called the Fabulous 5 because these are 5 of their best-selling stabilizers in one set. So it comes with some of the Power Mesh Fusible Cutaway. And Power Mesh is a great stabilizer for knits and garments because it stays, it's soft on the inside, right? So if you were going to embroider on this garment, it's going to stay soft on the inside. And then it also is going to allow for, it's going to keep the form. So that way your embroidery design doesn't, change the way the fabric of the garment looks. And then it stays there, so you also don't get, because it's a fusible and fuses on and sort of becomes almost part of your garment's fabric, you don't have any stabilizer shadow on some of those garments where you might be able to see the stabilizer on the backside, if that makes sense, because it's fused right to your garment. So this product works really well. Like I know many of the Anita Good designs, they recommend using the Power Mesh. And this used to be called No-Show Mesh, but it has been replaced now with Power Mesh. They've made it a little bit denser. They improved it, and this is the new and improved version of that stabilizer. The next is Heat and Gone. Heat and Gone is super slick. So when you have a towel or something that has pile on it, right, you're going to stabilize the back. And in fact, you might use this. Perfect Stick Stabilizer is one of these other stabilizers that comes with this. Perfect Stick is sticky on one side and a tearaway on top. So this is great when you, these are already put into sheets that are 10 inches by 12.5, so they're already pre-cut. So super easy to use in your embroidery hoop. And so on the back side, you might use that Perfect Stick to stick your towel down, right? And then on the top, you are going to use the Heat and Gone. And Heat and Gone makes it so that pile, so your embroidery design stays on top and the pile of the towel doesn't come through your embroidery design. But what's cool about this one is sometimes you don't want your garment to get wet because there is a wet and gone version of this. But this is called Heat and Gone, so you just use your iron and it just dissolves it off the top. Super easy, works really well, great product as a stabilizer topper.
Carmen, Deborah is asking, where does she find these items that you're talking about today?
Yeah, so we're Quality Sewing and Vacuum, and you can go to our website, qualitysewing.com, and you can search the name of any of these products, and you can find them there. We also have the PDF of our catalog that lists all of them right there on our homepage. And then if you are on our email list, we will actually send you an email later today with links to all of these different things. So hopefully that could also help you find the different things. If you're not on our email list and you would like to get added, if you just go to qualitysewing.com and say, hey, I'd like to get onto your email list, we will send you these emails with all of the information after each one of these sessions. Okay, so next, tearaway medium. So this is a tearaway stabilizer. This is probably, I would say that most of us, this is the very first stabilizer we ever used, right? Because it's super basic, it's easy. You hoop it, you hoop your fabric, and just tears off. And this is great for a lot of different uses. I also use tearaway stabilizer when I am doing decorative stitches, right, on my machine. Anytime that I'm doing almost anything in sewing where I need a little more stabilization, so that way my fabric doesn't bunch or my stitches don't bunch together, I'm gonna use a little stabilizer, and tearaway is great to have in your toolbox for that. And then finally, it also comes with the Heat and Stay Fusible. So Heat and Stay Fusible, it really helps for like woven fabric, like linens, cottons, batiste, denim, and it really becomes part of your fabric, sort of like how The no-show mesh, the power mesh, works really great for knits. This is going to do a similar thing, but for those cottons and denim and any of those more woven fabrics, where you're going to iron this onto the back of your fabric, and then when you do the embroidery, it's going to just give the extra stabilization, so that way the design doesn't distort your fabric at all. And then the bonus in this kit, so all the stabilizer is great, and that's really what the kit's about, but it does have a fun free bonus item that comes with it. It comes with this fun watercolor florals embroidery design, and you can see these are really cute. Could be cute to do something for spring, maybe make somebody a Mayday towel or something, I don't know. So we've got some cute stuff there. It comes with that, and it comes with 5 spools here, you can see, of the Floriani embroidery thread. I'm going to drop them on the floor. Embroidery thread that works with those embroidery designs as well. So that is what I have for you today. These are some new exciting things. We are going to be March 2nd through the 6th is Expo, and that's the theme of our catalog, and we're going to have tons of cool things where we're going to show lots of new notions, lots of new machines, lots of different things, and we are going to have different educators from different vendors showing some fun stuff. So if you liked this, we're going to have a lot more of this March 2nd through 6th, and that will be on our Facebook page. You can also watch it later on our YouTube channel, so there'll be lots of places to view it. And we do this series, the How Do I series, every week on a different topic. Sometimes it's product focused, like today, where this is how do I use these different tools, right? But sometimes it's also how do I embroider on a towel? How do I make embroidered jewelry? How do I sew a holiday stocking, right? Lots of different topics. So join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. and I look forward to talking to you soon.